Imagine being excited that you built your son's first bedroom. The tiny bed, you've got toys in the room, gifts underneath the Christmas tree, except you're not allowed to see him Christmas morning. You drive 2 hours every weekend hoping that she'll open the front door. Sometimes she does, but most times she doesn't. And when you finally get your day in court, she says that you're dangerous, erratic, and not to be trusted. Keep in mind, we're talking about the same woman who tried to convince you that your son wasn't yours, and you found out he was after a DNA test. And she continuously calls the son, my child, mine. And eventually, the judge has enough of it all. The title of this video is Mom Uses Outrageous Excuse to Block Visitation. Judge puts her in her place. Shout out to Court Nerds, your court watch source. No more wasting time. Just get it.
He's just erratic. You never know.
Mother would just simply lock the doors.
This is the father of this child.
What does that have to do with anything?
If that happens, she's going to go to jail. You were unable at this point to resolve this matter.
Did I hear jail in the intro? Beautiful.
All right, then we'll conduct a hearing, but I'm going to limit this hearing only on the Christmas visitation that is being requested. So what are you specifically asking for? You'll turn that microphone, well, just come up here.
December the 24th, beginning at 8 a.m. to December the 25th at 12 p.m. So Mother can have that second half.
So he wants the Christmas Eve and Christmas morning.
Yes, Judge. He didn't have the Thanksgiving because he was not able to do the visitation. So we're hoping we can get the Christmas Eve to Christmas morning.
Prior to this, this child is 2 years old, I think. 3 years old. The child is
3 years old, Judge. And then beginning December, it was supposed to be from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. unsupervised, still during the weekends.
all right.
She better have a good reason to be blocking the father.
Then you may put on your proof. Call your first witness.
Judge, I call my client. Okay. If we calculate from August the 31st, when you had your first visitation, all the way to 90 days, actually to today, you would have had 16 days of visitation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And out of those 16 days, how many were you able to actually spend time with your son, Ashton?
She only allowed me 8 visits.
8 visits. During those 8 visits, how was Ashton responding to you whenever you show up at Miss Hewitt's home?
Oh, he's really excited, just jumping up and down every time I get to the door.
Okay.
Trying to put his shoes on so he can go to the park.
Okay. During those 8 days that you had visitation, did Miss Hewitt allow you to take Ashton outside of her home without her presence, and you were able to visit with him?
Yes, ma'am. Me and her daughter, and then my fiance, we would go to the park, which is just a few hundred feet down the road from her house.
Okay.
And then on one occasion, I had to go get Miss Hewitt some car parts. Her car had messed up, and me, Asia, and Ashton all went together to get those without her.
Okay. And what are your plans for Christmas? Do you have any relatives?
Yeah, my mom, my sister, and my nieces are all planning to come to the house for Christmas.
Okay. And you got gifts prepared for Ashton?
Oh, yeah. This whole room set up. We had 13 family members come over for Thanksgiving, but I wasn't allowed to get him. She would not even answer the door.
Right. And then my last...
You know what I don't like about that question? I understand that that's going to make him look good, that he has other family, but does that all matter? The father wants to see his child, but we understand this is how it works in court. You have to paint a nice and bright environment for that child. Let's pause for a moment to thank the sponsor of this channel, fathershaverights.com. Did you know that prenuptial agreements are becoming significantly more common? Yes, especially among young generations like millennials and Gen Z. In fact, one of the expert attorneys featured in our prenup guide says he drafts 3 to 4 prenups every single week, and some firms draft more than 10. The truth is, far more people have prenups than you may realize. Want to know how to get a prenup before it's too late? Click the link pinned to the top of the comment section and take the first step in securing your future marriage and join the hundreds of men protecting their marriages the right way.
Last question to you is just describe to the judge, how many bedrooms do you have in your home?
3.
Okay. And you would have a separate bedroom for Ashton to sleep over if you're allowed to take him there from the 24th to the 25th?
Yes, ma'am. It's all set up. His toddler bed, everything he needs. It's a brand new room. I built the house, and it's never been stayed in.
And do you feel that your home is safe for him
Most definitely.
and suitable?
Most definitely.
And who lives there?
Me, my fiance, and my stepdaughter.
Okay. And how long have you been living with your fiance and
Just a little bit over 3 years.
okay. So you've been in
October was 3 years.
and then I will show you another set of pictures. Pictures, Mr. Fenton.
My fiance.
Okay. And what do those pictures depict?
Us at the park. Well, I guess on one occasion at the park, we went multiple times. And then this one depicts, he really likes to get in my truck and push the horn and play with all the buttons. And he thinks it's funny because I won't let him push the horn. He tries to get around me to do it. And then no,
those photos were
it's
taken
2 times at the park.
Okay.
This is I just because the shirt's different there, so
Okay.
it does show 2.
Okay, so those were taken during your visitation after you were in front of Judge Wolf, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then the very last one that was from April.
Okay,
Right,
so that one, okay.
I found out on March 25th that he was my biological son, and I was able to go down and have a visit at Miss Hewitt's home.
And so Miss Hewitt allowed you to take Ashton outside of her home,
Yes, ma'am.
outside of her presence, okay.
She was probably angry when she found out that he was the father.
I would like to enter that as an exhibit. And so
Exhibit
you're asking Judge Wolf to grant you December the 24th from 12 p.m., is that right?
Please.
To December 25 at noontime.
That's
So
correct.
that mom can have the second half of Christmas vacation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sounds fair.
And then, Judge, I also have in the motion the supervised visitation. So will that be continued, or am I allowed to go ahead and request for that?
Well,
Here.
the previous order was to be unsupervised beginning November 30th, according to that original order, at least the way it was drawn, correct?
Yes, Judge.
So I'm not going to address anything except Christmas visitation at this point, since she has no attorney.
And that's all my questions, Judge.
But you have the right, acting as your own attorney, to ask questions of him regarding his request for Christmas visitation or anything he's testified to. It is not your time to testify. I'm going to give you a chance to testify, but do you have questions you want to ask? If you do, you need to go to the podium. You're not required to ask any questions, but it is your chance to ask them if you have any.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
So did you have open CPS investigations in Scottsville regarding your stepdaughter, your
No.
ex-wife?
So I'm going to have to mute that word. She asked if he has allegations of the worst thing you could possibly do to children. Sounds like she's trying to paint the father of her kids as a predator all of a sudden.
So there's not court documents in Scottsville, Kentucky, where you and Buffy went to court with their stepdaughter, your stepdaughter.
I never.
You don't remember going to court
I
with
never-
your ex-wife?
No.
So if we pull the files, the court records,
You can pull. There is no.
Yes.
I have 0 criminal record whatsoever.
you changed your last name.
I
That's
changed my
why you
last
changed your
name at
last name.
32. I have my.
I'm sorry. You're going to ask in the form of a question. You can ask him whether or not he did or did not change his last name.
Did you change your last name after you and your wife went to court for your stepdaughter, buying her I quote, practice for her?
I changed my last name at 32 years old after I went through my first divorce and had my lawyer retained when my grandmother was on her deathbed, because she asked me to change my last name because I'd never carried my father's last name. With my DNA records, I changed my last name.
So he changed his last name to his father's last name because he never carried it. That's why he changed it, not based on some crazy accusation that she's trying to pin on him, is what he's saying.
Had nothing to do with trying to evade what had
No, Amy,
transpired
it
in
had to
court
do
with your
me having
ex-wife.
the wrong last name.
Okay. Your whole life.
Men are supposed to carry their father's last name, so you can
I
pass
mean-
it on.
Beautiful.
Just kind of weird it happened after.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to pause it again. I'm sorry I have to. He says men are supposed to carry their father's last name. Yes. You don't hear statements like that made very often in our modern day. I agree.
You can't make a statement.
Sorry.
You need to ask a question.
Okay. I don't feel safe.
Thank you. Just have a seat. Hold up, Mr. Benton, where do you live?
Scottsville, Kentucky. It's east of Bowling Green, about 10 miles across the.
So
Tennessee,
how long does it take you to drive between there and where the child is living?
It's 2 hours without traffic, 2.5 with traffic. It varies. Always allow 2.5 hours.
How long did you, how long, I'm sorry, how long have you had this lady in your life?
Over 3 years, 3 years.
And
in
is she
October.
living with you at that address?
Yes.
All right. So that the pictures that we show is your residence with this lady that your girlfriend or paramour or
Fiance.
whatever live in together. Now, and does she have children?
Yes, a 16-year-old. She turned 16 December the 9th. Elena today.
Allegations get made in divorces sometimes to gain an advantage over a custody situation. And I'm just going to ask you that you're under oath and you understand that lying under oath is aggravated perjury, a felony.
Yes, sir.
So she's asked you a question about this issue about whether or not there was ever an accusation made against you that you had sexually molested a child in a prior situation. Was there such an allegation? Yes or no?
There was a CPS investigation, but it wasn't to do with anything to do with me molesting a child. It had to do with her finding a sex toy that was brand new in the laundry room late at night and carried it to her bedroom across the house. Took a picture of it, sent it to her friends by her grandma's.
And it was a what now?
It was a sex toy, like a little, but it was
sex toy.
It was brand new, and it was wrapped up in a package in the laundry room, hidden.
And who did this? The child took a picture of it?
She took it from the laundry room while everybody else was in bed, took it to her bedroom, unwrapped it, snapped a picture of it, and sent it to her friend that lived beside her grandma in Westmoreland, Tennessee. Well, the friend shows her mom calls grandma calls CPS.
Right. So there was an investigation. What was the result of that investigation?
Her brother stayed there and she went and lived with her dad and then ultimately went to live at her grandma's.
Right.
Her brother graduated.
But there was never,
home.
according to you, there was never any investigation of you for you allegedly having committed some act against this child.
No, and no criminal anything. I mean, no.
Now, your son, and this is a little boy, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he is 3 years old, and you have had contact with him since you learned, as you said, in March, that he was your biological.
We can't skip over that bold-faced lie that the mother here just tried to tell in court. First off, big shout out to the judge here that says, listen, people lie when they come into custody battles. They lie to try to get an advantage so that they could have more physical custody, legal custody over that child. They can have more power, and so that they don't have to cooperate with the other parent. He acknowledged that. And he set that up to say, hey, if there was such an accusation by your ex-wife accusing you of being some type of a predator to your child, then he wouldn't be surprised. He's seen this many times, like we've seen this many times here on the Coffee Pot, but only to find out that there was never such an accusation at all. And the mom here is lying, just making stuff up. And we know that she's lying because it says, remember, you're under oath. Was there such an accusation? And in addition to that bold-faced lie, he says, I have no criminal history background. And so obviously, now that the judge realizes that this chick is just lying in court, then she's probably moving away from his neutral or good side.
March of this year that he was your
2025.
biological child. And you understand that's not a very long period of time to have a relationship with a child that's 3 years old. You're just beginning to learn him and him learn you. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And we are not going to deal with what's going to happen visitation-wise with, the future, except I'm trying to deal with this Christmas visitation. Who is you're saying is coming to your house for Christmas?
My mother, which is 82 years old, and my sister, Jaren, which Miss Hewitt was best friends with when we were kids. And she is 2 years older than me, so she would be 43. And then I have two nieces that are 12 and 10. And then I have two grown nieces that are 24 and 26 who are registered nurses. And then a nephew, and he's 20, and he's in the medical field as well.
All right.
And I just want to clarify the change of name, and I'm going to pass some documents to you. Tell me what those documents are.
My original birth certificate from when I was born, and then my original Social Security card with my last name reading Englehart, as well as a birth certificate. When I was born from 0 to 1, my name was changed 3 times by my mom, or twice. I know I carried my sister. We have different dads' last name originally, which was Reisinger. And then my mother changed it to Englehart when I was 0 to 1. And when my grandma was on her deathbed, she asked me to change my last name. She said, "You're going to have a son one day, and I want him to have the right last name." She said, "So you have your DNA records. Please go change your last name." I did this at 32 years old, so
Wow.
many years ago. It's been 9 years since I did this.
So you didn't change your name to evade some criminal
I
prosecution
didn't.
whatsoever.
No, not at all.
And tell me about the clearances that you have gotten from the government, from NASA and things like that. Just very briefly.
I did a project year before last in Mississippi at the NASA facility, which is a government facility. And I mean, you have to do extensive background checks, and I have a U.S. government badge on the table.
Man works for NASA, responsible. And what were you doing messing with this chick, my guy? let's not just skip over that. Be careful where you plant your seed, gentlemen.
Okay, so they had run your criminal background and things like that. Is that
Yes,
right?
ma'am. I've worked federal projects, so anytime I work on my airport, like B&A Airport, or any high-profile job, that's part of it.
Okay, and that's an ongoing situation with your current job. Is that right?
Yes, for the last 23 years. That's correct.
And the reason why you were not able to visit with your child from the time that he was born was because Miss Hewitt concealed the real paternity of Ashton to you. Is that correct?
Yes, and I have that in a message.
Wow.
Where she told me I came in from Virginia when he was expected, and she would not let me come to the hospital. Told me it had nothing to do with me, that she had already DNA'd the father, and I just assumed he was already there. And the other father is actually, she goes up, I don't know, she had a DUI, and the bondsman that bonded her out of jail was the other potential father, and he was exonerated, or when Ashton was 1 year old. I received notice from the Tennessee Child Support Office in February of this year, asking me to do a DNA test.
Okay.
And that was how I found out.
And then from then on, you tried to foster the relationship. Is that right?
Yes.
And is that your purpose here, is to continue to have that relationship with your son?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all, Judge. And I'm not entering those documents into the exhibit, so you can take it with you.
Okay.
DUI. Yeah, we heard that. She's the one with the, history.
So you and Miss Hewitt had a relationship at some point. How long was that relationship?
We never had a relationship, and we knew each other from the time we were children. From about 5 to 16, my mom's farm, which she still owns in Rockbridge, Bethpage, Tennessee.
Well, obviously she became pregnant, so you had some sort of relationship.
Well, I was married for years, and I didn't really see Miss Hewitt until I guess it would have been the beginning of 2020 and Facebook. She ended up reaching out to me on Facebook, and I went down, and it was kind of just went down for the weekend and met with Miss Hewitt. And then, it wasn't long afterwards, she stated that she was pregnant, and I went back down, only on a couple weekends. But I knew that the other potential father was, that they were having a relationship as well, based off of their phone conversations. And I worked on the road at the time. I worked on the gas pipeline, so I did a lot of travel. And
Okay, so when did you find out she was pregnant?
probably about a week after or two. Well, really, I didn't know for sure until 4.5 months when I took her to the doctor.
Right. And who did she tell you was the father of this child?
She told me it was the other guy. I'm not sure his name.
Well, you at no time knew that you were the father until you got this petition from the Department of Child Support Office, rather.
No, I mean, she told me when she first got pregnant that it was mine, but then it changed very quickly that it was the other guy's. So I didn't really, I'm 40, fixing to be 41, and I've never had a biological child. So I believed her. I really believed that, it was the other man's child.
All right. Ms. Hewitt, you have the right. If you have any other questions, I'll allow you to ask those questions. Do you have anything else you want to ask him? All right. Thank you. Step down.
Can we not skip over the fact that one decision, he says, listen, she reached out to me on Facebook, Your Honor. She wanted me, Your Honor. She was thirsty, Your Honor. One decision, one mistake, gentlemen. It all just takes one decision. That one time when you thought it was going to be like every other time, when you went raw, obviously, into some chick, you get that chick pregnant. And now you're on Court Nerds, your court watch source, and now getting reviewed on the coffee pot. I'm just saying, man. Listen, save yourself the headache. Save yourself the headache.
All right. Mr. Fenton has rested his proof. So, Ms. Hewitt, if you want to be heard on this issue, I'll be glad to let you testify. But we're also just dealing with his request for Christmas visitation, in which he is requesting Christmas Eve until Christmas Day at noon. So come to the podium. If you're going to testify, are you going to testify? Then come around here and raise your right hand and be placed under oath. All right.
Does it mean that she look way older than him too,
Let me correct one thing. I know you referred to this as my child. My child is nonverbal autistic. Number one, it's not just your child. He is the father of that child, and the legal rights that he has are such that you cannot simply say, this is my child, I'm going to do it my way. So you have to understand that he has a legal right that has to be balanced with your legal right, and first and foremost is the best interest of the child. So why don't you tell me what it is that you object to him having visitation over Christmas?
I don't object to supervised visitation at all, but he doesn't know Ashton well enough or anything about, I've raised a 22-year-old special, autistic, and he's in college now for cybersecurity. He works at Walgreens, licensed pharmacy tech. I've been doing this a long time. I've got a 12-year-old daughter and now Ashton, but he's more special needs than any of them. He's got a rare heart condition also. He gets therapies all through the week. He was previously with TEIS from birth, and then we switched over to the Board of Education, where he gets ABA, OT, PT, speech, and it's just, he doesn't know when he's overstimulated. And even when he's had this visitation, the only thing that he does is pick him up. He doesn't try to talk to him or anything. And he's worried about taking him out to his truck, where his girlfriend sits the whole time outside the house in the truck, That's what he goes out there, and he's more worried about her sitting in the truck than my child. And we got in an argument because he was teaching him to go up to the road, and he kept trying to go up there, and he let him lay on the horn, and I have neighbors and things too. But I mean, I don't feel comfortable. And as far as, I mean, I can prove from his own messages I've got printed out. He's known since day one this is his child. The only reason any of this started because I had to work with DHS child support finally, and to be honest, I wish I just never did.
She wants that child support, that NASA money.
I wouldn't have to deal with this because he's dangerous, he's erratic. And as far as his sister, I've got messages from his sister too. His sister and his nieces and nephew, they don't want anything to do with him. His mom's even scared of him and doesn't like to deal with him. Yes, she's rode down there to see Ashton, but at the same time, she knows and how he is. He's just erratic. You never know what it's going to be. And he always takes it out on women and children.
He's trying to paint this dude like a monster. He takes out his frustration on women and children. Come on, man.
Right. So when you say you would be in favor of supervised visitation, what exactly are you proposing?
Continue like at my house supervised where I can see.
Has he been allowed to take the child away from your house?
Like to the playground.
So he's been away from you while he's had this child?
I mean, I drove down there, and then the other time the neighbor that I'm friends with watched.
Right.
But it's right next to my house.
Ms. Hendrickson, do you have any questions?
Who is your son's pediatrician?
What does that have to do with anything?
What was your question?
Who is the child's pediatrician? She's saying that the child is going through therapy and things, which we don't think it's correct.
Number one, you don't get to, you can object to a question, but that here, you need to understand one thing. And this is, you referred to the child as my child more than once. And I thought maybe I'd emphasize that enough, but I want to make sure you understand. This is the father of this child. You and he had a sexual relationship.
Right.
And he is the biological father of this child. Therefore, he is vested with certain rights that the law in the state of Tennessee give him.
Mm-hmm.
Those rights include, as a non-custodial parent, the right to know who the child's doctors are, the right to be advised of certain things about this child. And when this is all said and done, there's going to be a parenting plan that's going to be entered that's going to set forth all of that information. But you cannot simply say that you're not going to let him know who the pediatrician is.
I mean,
so you're going to have to answer that question for Ms. Hendrickson. Answer the question.
It's never a problem when the man's clapping the cheeks. You don't care about that level of intimacy. That level of intimacy is okay, right? When he's in the bedroom between your legs. But now when he wants to know, how's my child doing, so on and so forth, now you want to fight. Now he's overstepping boundaries.
Okay, so if I check the records, they will have file there, medical records there.
yes.
Mr. Fenton has brought his mother with him on some occasions. You remember that?
Yeah, I love his mom.
Right.
I mean, I love her.
So it's not true that he does not have a good relationship with his mother,
No,
because in fact, he has taken him to your house so that he can see his grandson. Is that right?
That doesn't mean he has a good relationship with his mom.
But he has taken the grandma with him
Yeah.
on
and
some
then
of the
she
visitation.
comes
Okay.
And yeah.
So Ashton has met his grandma, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then, and you're saying that Mr. Fenton knew about the paternity, but in fact, you texted him confirming that you told him he was not the father. Do you remember that text message?
Oh, yes. After I've got text messages too, but after many drunk late night crazy messages, and I mean him calling me a drunk gutter and all this stuff. So
Ooh, my bad.
and I've got the message from my sister too, telling me just say it's not his.
Okay, so but you never corrected it. Let's say you were drunk when
But
you
he
told
knew.
him you're not the.
I don't
Let
drink.
me finish the question, ma'am.
I don't drink.
Well, you just said you were drunk.
I said he was drunk.
Oh, he was drunk. Okay, so but you
Didn't she get a DUI though?
are confirming that you told him he was not the father. Is that correct?
Yes, but he knew.
Okay.
He had a
So
period
it was
tracker
a
on his phone.
misstatement, ma'am.
One of you
I'm
talk
sorry.
at a time, please.
So it was a misstatement when you claimed there on that stand that he knew all along because you told him he was not the father.
He knew all along. He had a period tracker on my phone. We were never apart in the beginning when we were together. He purposely got me pregnant. And then when I wouldn't move out and live in a travel trailer and let
doubt
me
that.
work out of town and lose my housing and all that crap, he got mad and but I would still get just crazy erratic messages or he'd show up out of the blue.
But why did you tell him that the DNA test was not
He had
him?
a DNA test in his truck when he came down after Ashton was first born. Walked in the house, said he had a DNA test in the truck, but he knew he didn't need it because it was his kid. And before this was even set up to let him see him, I let his mom and him come see Ashton at my house without any orders. And I said that they could come see him.
Okay, but since then, you were not following the judge's order.
Well-
You have not been allowing Mr. Fenton to see his son whenever it's possible. I understand when the child is sick, but when he's not sick, he shows up after 2.5 hours
You're
of
not
driving.
Ms. Hendrickson, I've told you, we're not dealing with the contempt issue, and I don't think it's
Understand,
appropriate to go into those issues.
That's all my
This
question.
is only about the.
And I only know of the supervised Saturdays. And it says that in the YouTube video, we were supposed to come to court back to here after 90 days. Now, what you
I
ever
just
drew
ruled
up,
that we're not going into that, so you
Sorry.
don't have to say anything else about that.
That's all my questions, Judge.
Anything else you want to say?
me,
All right, thank you. Step down. Do you have any witnesses you wish to call? All I can say is that, number one, the court's main emphasis in all of these cases is the best interest of the minor child.
Right.
Mr. Fenton says he was not aware that he was the father. In fact, he was denied that he was the father, and therefore he didn't take any steps over the last 3 years until he got notified that he was going to be the father, or that he was potentially the father, and then the testing proved that he was. She says, of course, Ms. Hewitt says that he knew all along he was the father. I'm not sure exactly how she said he intended to get her pregnant and so forth, but they had a voluntary sexual relationship that resulted in a child. That is the immutable fact. And as a result of that, we've got a child who's in the middle of this scenario. Ms. Hewitt obviously has nothing good to say about the man she had sex with and had a child with, but she essentially doesn't want him to have unsupervised visitation. I don't have any proof for me that he poses a threat to this child, but by the same token, the proof before me is that he has a number of health issues, including being nonverbal autistic. Even Mr. Fenton testified the young man is very limited in what he has to say.
Why can't the father learn how to handle that? That shouldn't be a hindrance.
It's a giant leap from going from supervised visitation of a child that you first get acquainted with at 2.5 or 3 years old, to having the child spend the night with you on Christmas Eve and until Christmas Day at noon. That's a world away from what I think this child would be used to. But by the same token, he needs to have visitation with a child that his family can be a participant in, because this extended family is this child's family.
Right.
So the balancing of those is the difficult part of this. I think that under these circumstances, I'm not going to grant him the visitation from Christmas Eve overnight to Christmas Day, but I will grant him visitation from 8 o'clock Christmas morning until 6 o'clock p.m. Christmas Eve. I'm sorry, Christmas Eve morning at 8 a.m. to Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. He'll have the right to take the child to Kentucky if that's what he wishes to do, to visit with his family. He will give her a telephone number where she can talk to the child while he's there and make sure that she's reassured that there's not any problems. The only reason I'm not granting the overnight visitation is my concern about these health issues, a congenital heart defect, other issues that Ms. Hewitt says under oath this child has. You're going to have a right to look at those medical records and determine whether or not she's being truthful with the court. Same thing, you be quiet when I'm talking. Same thing goes for...
She's over there talking. He should have gotten that overnight. I don't see why he can't be told the proper ways to... You're never going to have a perfect time. You're not going to have a perfect time for a son to get acquainted with his father who he doesn't know as well as he should. You're not. It's going to be difficult and hard and challenging, but it's for the better. It's his father.
Your testimony about what you say this past event has. She has a right to bring in evidence regarding that, and I'll determine at a later time, or one of the other judges would, whether or not you've been truthful in the history that you've given me. This child deserves to have both parents, but I'm of the opinion that right now you need to take small steps to get to that point. So I'm giving you unsupervised visitation on Christmas Eve of this year to allow you to try to have that time with your family in that, and we'll see how that goes. But
at least it's unsupervised.
I am of the opinion that is the best scenario I can create for the child to have that contact. And that will be the order of the court. So Ms. Hendrickson will draw this order, and the visitation will begin at 8 a.m. Christmas Eve morning.
Judge, if I may, maybe request that mother just, the exchange should happen at the Dixon Police Department instead of the father going to the house, because in the past, the mother would just simply lock the doors.
That happens,
so-
she's going to go to jail. So, I mean, he may miss his Christmas visitation. He may end up with custody of the child because she's going to, if she denies this court order, she is looking at 10 days in jail minimum because that's what's going to happen.
Oh, I hope she does. Right. I almost wish that they didn't say anything.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Right. Is that bad? Am I wishing somebody needs to hold this lying woman accountable?
I'm ordering this. You have to comply. You don't have a choice. And as a result, it's 8 a.m. Christmas Eve morning until 6 p.m. Christmas Eve night. He will pick the child up at her house. I'm not going to traumatize this child further by having the child have to go to the police station and be exchanged with his parent. All that's going to do is convey to the child that there's something dangerous going on here, or else there wouldn't have to be exchanged at the police department. You'll pick the child up. You'll have the child ready to go with whatever needs to go with him to be able to spend the day. The child goes to daycare, so he's away from you for times. This is nothing different than that, except it'll be in his home. You don't bring it back. You violate this court order by some fashion, then you're going to go to jail. I don't want to put either one of you in jail. I want you to behave and do what you're supposed to. It's Christmas, for goodness sakes. You're supposed to have a contact with your family. This child, I'm doing this for the child's benefit, not for Mr. Fenton's benefit. I'm doing it so this child can have time with his extended family and begin to learn that these are his family. These people are his family, and that he has these other relationships. He has medical issues. We'll have to deal with those things down the road. But this is my order for today.
Judge, and one more thing, Ms. Hewitt did start saying that she brought some documents. I did have a subpoena ducis tecum issued.
I'm not dealing
for
with
her.
that, Ms. Hendrickson. I said all along that this is only about the Christmas,
For the Christmas
visitation.
visitation.
You have other motions. You have other court dates. You can reset your motion. In January, we have a number of different chancery days. You can get with the clerk. You can reset your motions for a day in January, and we'll deal from there. But I'm telling you both right now, you better start thinking about the best interest of this child and not the possessory interest. I'm very concerned, Ms. Hewitt, about you referring to my child, my child, my child. It is your child. It is his child. So you need to start phrasing it differently, because all that means to someone like me or to Mr. Fenton is that you think he belongs to you and he has no right. And I'm telling you, he has rights that are given to him under the law of the state of Tennessee, and I'm going to enforce those rights, but I'm also going to do it in a way that this child will benefit the most that I can create. All right, Ms. Hendrickson will draw the order. We have 15 minutes before we have to break for lunch.
Thank you, Judge.
Beautiful. As I was going to check out some of these comments, what the people have to say. What do you guys think so far? Top comment here reads, if she had records, she would have brought them. She's making false allegations and should be charged. Yeah. And this is the thing. I pointed the fact that she's just plain out lying to the court. And a lot of people wonder, well, why don't they face false allegations and potential jail time for those type of false accusations? Well, because they happen a lot. I've reacted to a video of an attorney saying, listen, we don't believe allegations a lot of the times, especially these type of atrocious allegations of trying to paint the dad as a predator. It's disgusting that they're just that common, and they would be arresting women left and right. And we know they can't do that. They can't do that. Yes, they can, Shisha. I know they can, but they don't want to, right? Somebody else here added, when you hate your ex more than you love your child, you have no business being a parent. Another person who says, this woman won't allow visitation because she is afraid the child will want to live with his father, whereby she will lose her monthly support check. I think this is the beginning, and it's a good decision if you ask me. This is the beginning of introducing the son to another way of life, a less chaotic life. Say, hey, this is how life is like with dad. We've reacted to videos and we've watched videos where children have said, you know what? I choose to live with dad. And what happened in that video? Well, the mother had a 30-minute meltdown talking about how she couldn't believe what was happening. And she was devastated. Somebody else here added, the fact that dad said he only found out the truth after the state sent him something is just awful. What's even worse is he's saying he's in his 40s and this is his only biological child. But yet she's refusing to co-parent with him and allow him to actually have a relationship with their child. What an awful, vindictive, selfish woman. I understand his special needs, and I'm sure every mother would have concerns. But this is more than just being concerned. This is just spite. Shame on her. And wouldn't you want help? If somebody's willing to help and they don't have a criminal history or background of things that you should be concerned about, wouldn't you want that type of help if you're truly concerned about your child? Somebody else here responded back to that comment and said, this is awful. This is a woman so cruel and devious. She's being so selfish. If she really put her child first, she would co-parent with the kid's father civilly. This is doing nothing but hurting everyone, mostly the child. Parental alienation at its finest, and it stinks. Here's somebody else who says, how devious and typical. She tried to turn around a story about a child accidentally finding what belongs to the girlfriend into he gave this to her to practice. That is pure gutter mentality. Here's somebody else who says if he has a D&D clearance, then he was never charged as they would pull his clearance if he was. You can't be a criminal and hold a security clearance. I know people who had their clearance pulled for failing a random drug test and they were never even charged with anything. Another person here added, what an awful woman. Since she has known him since childhood, she supposedly knew how bad she projected him to be. Then why did you sleep with him and have a baby with him? Give me a break. Of course, guys, curious to know. What do you think? Hey, guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.